see how design teams at Flipkart use ProtoPie to design for today as well as for tomorrow. So Prateek, I will let you share your screen. So yeah, so you can get started with your presentation.
Sure, thank you, Julia. Hello, everyone. Just a moment. Yes. Everyone can see my screen? All good?
We can,
awesome.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Cool. Hello, everyone. Yes. So my name is Prateek. I'm based out of India, and I'm currently working with Flipkart as a product design lead. I have worked in multiple domains in past 11 years. I've worked for healthcare, identity management, gaming, and now I have moved to e-commerce and currently exploring the world of e-commerce. So just to start with, before I start the whole presentation, just a quick brief, like what Flipkart is all about. So Flipkart is India's biggest e-commerce company, founded it back in 2007. 2018, it was acquired by Walmart. So now we are a part of Walmart Group. And Flipkart is not just an e-commerce company now. Now we are in 2020, and Flipkart works in variety of domains in payment, travel, medicines, grocery, logistic management, and many more. And almost in all the technologies that you can think of, right? And that's what Flipkart is all about. Moving on, in Flipkart, as like all other companies have, so there is one which is a customer-facing product app, or the construct, the product and the service which is used by the consumers, and then there is the other side of the world, which is the enabling layer of any company, which is known as the enterprise side or B2B side. So basically, I work for Flipkart B2B side. And when I say B2B side, like mostly the enterprise, what I usually do is I build products that are used by brands and sellers, and specifically to run their advertisement campaigns on Flipkart. The main goal of our user is to increase the visibility to sell the products that they sell on Flipkart. So with advertisement, they basically make more awareness about the products, right? And at Flipkart, we believe to build not just any like normal enterprise app, but build beautiful and wow factor in all our enterprise applications as well. Cool. Moving on. So let's start with a story. As a child, I always used to watch movies and get inspired by and fascinated by a lot of roles and actors that used to play. And then I wanted to be like them, right? Some of my career path that I opted for, like scientist, police, army, and many more. You know how kids are, right? And then I used to start working towards it. But this shows, even as a kid, right, we all have a vision of what we want to be and why we want to be, right? What our tomorrow is going to be like. So, for example, like if I want to be a doctor, I'll start working on it today. So tomorrow I can be a doctor, right? The same goes for a product too. Every product needs to have a vision. What will it be ideal state? The North Star, the product after 5 or 8 years, what it will be, right? And as a product designer, we have to account for both, right? So we just don't design today how it's going to look like, how it works today, but even for tomorrow, for the future, right? And this is what the theme of my webinar today. So now my whole presentation will be, I'll be talking in two parts, designing for today and designing for tomorrow. So the product lifecycle is endless. The product, when I say that, I meant it's never an ending process, right? You can never say that this product or the design that you did is for next 1 year, right? Because it's not going to end there. Things are going to evolve, things are going to change. You keep on building new features, improving an existing, and so on. The product change with time as when user needs changes. So as a designer, you need to consider two things, right? What you build today and what you build tomorrow. So let's see what is today and tomorrow for a product, right? Today is where we talk about the design process, right? All your define, ideate, prototype, all these things comes when you are doing today, right? And today is where you talk about customer values, product and business values, right? Something that customer needs, and that's what with your product you're going to solve it. And lastly, you build for immediate result, right? Within a within a short, maybe if you follow agile or whatever, right? Within a release, your feature is going to live and people are going to use it and there will be immediate results, right? Whereas tomorrow is when you talk about the design vision of the product, right? How your product will look after 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, whatever, right? You start talking about product innovation. So the innovation part comes here because now you just not limit yourself with the tech or whatever things you have around, but you go beyond that. Because in future, you need to consider there will be new advancement in technology, there will be new technologies will be coming in, AI, ML, AR, everything, right? And you also talk about long-term value given to your consumers, correct? I think things will get more clear as I move forward. Uh, now you might be thinking, how is it different from the story that I told you, right? When it comes to product, it's not just one stakeholder that you have to convince. There's a whole company. There are a lot of people who get involved in decision making or funding of your product, right? And they need to think in the same way you think, right? And this is the most tricky part, to make others think the same way you think. That's where the prototyping comes in. That's where your designs comes in, right? To be more specific, let's talk about what we do in each section, what we do in today and what we do in tomorrow, what we build in today and what we build tomorrow, right? So today, here we try to do two things. We understand the pain points, the current pain point that a user has, and incremental changes in the current ecosystem, right? The methods we use to capture these are feedback sessions, workshops, research that we do, right? The desk research and the diary research that we do. The artifacts that we produce by end of today phases, like there's a research finding, there are mock-ups, there are wireframes for those features that we are building, and prototyping, right? And the main question that we are answering in today is how we can give the best in class experience to our users, right? And the last part, like how prototyping help us in today's phases, validate different solutions and save time and cost, right? You can quickly design your features, you can create a prototype and go and test it out with your users. Let's talk about tomorrow, right? Now let's see what we are solving when we talk about tomorrow, right? So tomorrow is more about serving user needs, right? Because user needs keeps on changing with the time, right? So we should have that long-term vision, what it will be, right? And this is where we talk about innovation, vision, the end state of the product. The method that we use is interviews. We look for the behavior, competitors, technology. So all these things we capture, we try to think for more like from a future perspective. And artifact that we present for tomorrow or for future are storyboarding. Mainly those are storyboarding, or there are conceptual design and prototyping here as well. And with prototyping, we are actually trying to show here how the future will look of a product. And prototyping help everyone to get on the same page and work towards the vision, right? Everyone, I meant with all the stakeholders of the company, right? Build that imagination. So how we use prototyping, right? Prototype is not just let the user or your stakeholders see the product, right? But to step into the future direction while taking tomorrow's technologies into account, right? And this is a method to get all the stakeholder think in the same direction as you are and get all those buy-ins. And we usually use Figma, and this is where ProtoPie comes in. So we design with Figma, but build all these prototypes in ProtoPie. So just for everyone today, like I took a small case study to showcase everyone like how we do it in the real scenario. So I'm going to take so today I will walk you through a issue management system we made for our users. This is not the exact product, but I made this to show you and give you a feel of the process, right? So issue management system is the most important part of any product. This is a place where user comes in case if they have issues, they are stuck somewhere, they need to get some query listed and everything. And I'm sure like every one of us use issue management system in some other way, right? Maybe in your Gmail, in your day-to-day products, right? So here and today, when we are designing for it, the goal for designing for the today is we want to build the world best issue management system for the users to help them when they are stuck in completing that daily task, right? And user needs here is a user should be able to raise a ticket in case they are stuck or they have any issues, they have any question related to product. And metrics we track here as adoption, efficiency, number of, let's say, number of campaign created, whatever your product is, the main goal of their product is, right? Whereas when we talk about tomorrow, right, the goal is to build a product that user don't require a IMS to complete their daily task, right? User should not be able, like, should not even need a issue management system. So that's the future of it. Make your product so easy that anyone can use it anytime without any questions. That's again a North Star, but somewhere we will lead, it will lead us there. Right. And here the user needs are a user should be able to complete the task with no issue raised, as I mentioned. And matrix is no issue raised. So this is like how we use ProtoPie here. It's a small example here. So you will see here how easy and accessible we have made to access the help section, which keep the context of the screen you are at. Right. So basically it's on the top right, and anyone, whatever you're working on, you can always access to your help and see wherever you are stuck at. Right. In case if you still have some question, you can even raise a ticket. Right. Whereas when you build for future, right, we have tried to minimize the use of help icon by giving adequate information to a user where he or she might need to achieve their goals, right? So here we are giving a contextual information to a user to complete their task, what each and everything means, right? So that's how like we build our products. And this is how ProtoPie is helping us driving the innovation through prototyping. This help us building the product for future for our customers. So to just summarize the whole presentation, ProtoPie let us imagine the future. Stakeholders to focus on the user needs and change. It won't work to yes, let's do it attitude. So basically we change the attitude of our stakeholders from it won't work to yes, let's do it attitude. Fail fast and learn fast, and fast and fun. What's next is we reverse engineer basically. So create a roadmap that will lead us to the future innovation. We break down our future imagination into baby steps, which will lead us there. Just a note, roadmaps is not a constant. It keeps on changing depending on multiple inputs or multiple things that keep on evolving in the company, right? But this helps us at least reaching and help us to reaching towards our goals and the future product that we want to build. And these are the few reasons why we love ProtoPie, because of the web tool, easy to access from anywhere, from any device. The ProtoPie Studio, it's amazing studio, works on Mac and gives you tons of functionalities, features, right? Seamless integration. We always struggle here because it's a big company and we are using some products, right? So whenever we are taking any new product in consideration, we always think of using the integration with our existing products that we use for designing. Share and collaborate, again, an amazing feature where we can get the feedback. And last is build for future. When you're designing for future, you need a product that actually thinks and or allow you to build prototypes for future, for any device and all those things. So that's all from me, folks. Yep, that's all from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the great presentation, Prateek. Okay, then let me share my screen once more so we can get started with the Q&A. We
Sure.
will go to the Q&A section and see what questions we have. Okay, then. So someone is asking, Prateek, what was your developer team's reaction when you implemented ProtoPie in your design and development process?
Yeah, good question. Actually, the interface of ProtoPie, the sharing capability that they talk about, right? It's so seamless. They're so happy about it because now we can talk about each micro interactions, how the transitions will be, right? So, and it's so easy to share with them. So it gives them more clarity. It gives them better understanding of the whole development scope. Uh, it So basically, it's a very good win-win situation for both designers and developers. We are no more just communicating things vocally, saying that this will be the, or this will be the transition and all these things will be there. We can actually show them. And the sharing is so easy. You can just share the link with them and they can play the video. Things becomes easier.
So do you, Prateek, use interaction recording by any chance, or you use another platform for handing off like specs and all that?
We do with both. If it's a complex one, we use the ProtoPie share option where we can directly share the link with them and they can see it themselves. They can play it, replay it again and again. Or sometimes we even do the same kind of recording that we did like this today, right? But usually we use videos when we are presenting to our stakeholders, but developers they're handy with all the tools. So it's all good.
Amazing. Another question from Tara in the chat box. So Tara's thing is asking, what is your backup plan if the developer is unable to do the interaction in the target sprint?
So even going to, so ProtoPie help us validating things before it goes to a sprint or goes to a development. This is where we basically can see that if few things are working, people are noticing the interaction, right? So we do these ProtoPie and all these interactions, build these interactions before any developers pick up pick up the task in the sprint.
Awesome. Tara, I hope that covers your question. Prateek, someone is asking, how much time do you estimate that you save with ProtoPie overall?
It depends on project to project, right? Sometimes when it's so the one that I showed in these were really easy ones, very easy to build, very easy to, and usually we use Figma, so we can directly import it from Figma and then use the triggers and object in ProtoPie. So this doesn't consume a lot of time. Depends on complexity of the animation, complexity of the logics that we need to build for, right? So, but it's not I'll say it's not like a everyday thing, but maybe few hours in a week. That's all it requires.
Okay, that sounds pretty good to me. Thank you, Prateek. Okay, someone is saying, I always wanted to implement ProtoPie in my design team. How did you and your team get started, and how did you learn to use ProtoPie? If you can share with us a little bit how that adoption process went.
Sure. Actually, so before ProtoPie, we used to design in Figma, but again, there was a lot of things that ProtoPie enabled us. So when we are thinking about designing for the complex interactions, complex transition, using those logics in multiple screens and all those things, right? That's where ProtoPie made it easy for us, right? That's where we realized that it's beyond Figma. And few things which Figma is good for, few things which ProtoPie is good for, right? So that's how we got adopted to ProtoPie, and it was very easy getting used to ProtoPie. The UI is very easy. The UI looks like uh, 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 the rest of the design products that we use. So it's always easy to pick up those things, the terms that they use. Plus, they have a lot of materials on their websites. So there are a lot of workshop, there are courses on their website. So there's a lot of videos on YouTube as well. So yeah, that's what we do to whenever we are stuck, we refer to any of the videos or any of the courses on website.
Indeed, thank you so much for sharing, Prateek. Yes, to add on what Prateek has just shared, yeah, we have a dedicated team to create content. We also released, and if Rebecca or Freda can share our ProtoPie school link, it's a free platform where you can get started. You can pick up your level, and then you can deepen your knowledge of ProtoPie. Yeah. And yeah, we do have the documentation that we always try to keep up to date. So yeah, we tend to believe that we do provide a lot of resources, which we are always improving. So we do have one more question for Prateek, or two more questions. Let's see. Can you, so the adoption of ProtoPie, you just explained that. Can you tell us, Prateek, if there are other designers in the team prototyping as well?
Yes, sure. So yes, as I mentioned, right? So we at Flipkart, there's a big team. There's a consumer side. Consumer side is using ProtoPie extensively because the consumer app is on mobile, and it gives a lot of flexibility to build those prototypes for mobile. So we have a bunch of folks who are using it extensively. On B2B side, we are few people, not everyone has adopted it, but few people have started using it to showcase the goodness of all these interactions, the micro interactions that we build, and how it helped to get that wow factor in the B2B apps.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, then if there are no more questions, okay. What was your workflow like before ProtoPie, Prateek? So you mentioned something about Figma, but yeah.
Oh yes. So I think every company has those licenses issues and everything, right? So Figma is something which we use in and out and extensively. The drawback there was these micro interactions, right? So because Figma used to just allow us navigate from one screen to other screen, put those hotspot, you click on it and you basically do. But it never gave us that much freedom of using those micro interactions, different interactions on tap, on click, on hover, and all those kind of things, right? That's where like we used to struggle before. And whenever we used to communicate with the developers, with our different stakeholders, there's something where we used to use different videos or like, see, these people are doing something like this, we will do something like that, right? But it was not so easy to replicate it within our product. So that's what our process used to be.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you, Prateek. I think we have time for one more question. Prateek, if you can shortly explain, let's say, if you cannot achieve the interaction that you are thinking about, what are some steps that you take for tackling that hurdle?
So when we cannot achieve the interaction, right, we always use some examples which is there in the current industries. We use those videos, we use those recordings or clippings that help our stakeholders, developers imagine the kind of thing that we want to build.
Okay, that clarifies this for me. I thank you for all the questions. If you have more questions for Prateek, please leave them in the Q&A, and we will either type them, or if we have time at the end to cover them, we will do so. Jaggi, I will try to answer your question in written. Okay, thank you so much for graciously handling the Q&A, Prateek.